Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, what's my brethren in Brisbane, Australia? Shout out to Brisbane, Australia. They had a great opener to their ESPN top rank on ESPN series. I personally enjoyed it, just didn't like the decision, but a great main event by Manny Pacquiao and Jeff Horn came to fight. Now, speaking of ESPN on top rank, let's get to that other matchup that we're talking about. We're going to talk about Battle for Undisputed. There's been a lot of undisputed talk in the YTBC lately, and we finally have a fight for an undisputed champion. And it could come in two very different forms. We'll start with the A side of this, Terence Bud Crawford. This guy is looked at and perceived to be one of the top five pound for pound fighters in boxing. And I know a lot of people don't have him top five pound for pound. I personally do. I think he's a great fighter. So he will be fighting for undisputed to become an undisputed champion. The first one, I believe, is Jermaine Taylor. On the other hand, we have a guy in Julius Indongo who, if we're being honest with ourselves, a year ago, none of us really knew. He was, just in obscurity fighting in Africa. He gets a shot against Edward Troyanowski, the IBF champion at the time, knocks him out. Then he goes to, was it Scotland? I think Scotland or wherever. Beats Ricky Burns. So he's become a unified champion, rising from obscurity, and it really is kind of like in a sense, a David versus Goliath type of thing. I know they're both good fighters, both unified champions, so they're not. It's not like one guy is good and one guy's a scrub, but we know Crawford's a better fighter. We know that he's gonna have the odds stacked in his favor for this fight against Ndongo. But it's very interesting. It's very interesting to see that the paths that led both of them to this point. Now, as far as the fight goes. It will be August 19th, I believe. Let me see. August 19th, ESPN on Top Rank in Terence Crawford's hometown of, not in Omaha, but in Lincoln, Nebraska, which is an hour from Omaha, and we'll be fighting there at the Pinnacle Bank Arena. So for Terence, much like pretty much all these fighters, unless you're Manny Pacquiao, this, for a lot of casual sports fans, people who just watch UFC and shit like that, and I'm having cursing, but people who watch UFC and watch other sports, and kind of gotten away from boxing or turned off by boxing, they might be flipping the channels one night and they see this guy here, Terence Crawford, and I'm sure, but whenever they flip the channels, you have Teddy Atlas and all these guys talking him up and talking about how great he is. They're gonna want to see what all the fuss is about. So the very first glimpse of people who are not boxing fans, who are not hardcore boxing fans like you and myself, their first glimpse could be Terence Crawford being undisputed champion, and that does a lot for his profile if he can look sensational in doing so. Now, same goes for Ndongo. I mean, a year or two ago, nobody knew who the hell this guy was, and here he is fighting in America on national television for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. I mean, don't you see why boxing is so great? This is why boxing is great. This is why boxing is better than basketball. This is why boxing is better than football. This is why boxing is better than hockey. You can't be, for the most part, in most cases, you can't be fighting in obscurity into your 30s in any of those sports and come in and have a chance to be seated in one of the top positions the sport has to offer, which is, undisputed champion. Or if you're baseball or hockey, if it was hockey, maybe the Hart Trophy or the Rocky Richard Award or anything like that. If it was baseball or basketball, the MVP, it's seldom. You'll never see that in any of those sports. But in boxing, the have-nots can become something great. And that's why you gotta love it. That constant story of fighting through poverty, fighting through struggle, fighting out of obscurity, and then ultimately getting a chance to prove yourself on the night of the fight, no matter what people say outside the ring. It truly is a beautiful thing, which is why I love the sport more than any sport in the world. Now, stylistically, it's a fight that I definitely favored Crawford heavily in. He's got the youth. I think, to me, he's coming into his prime as a fighter. And, he just, obviously I would say, I would agree with some people in the YTBC that I will say that as much as I love Crawford, and I think he's one of the handful of guys in boxing that could be one day pound for pound number one. I gotta say, man, as much as I like him, he does have probably he has the weakest resume of any pound for pound fighter right now on the Ring Magazine top 10 list. I mean, look at his resume. Felix Diaz is a good fighter, a good win, but most people, nobody was really picking Felix Diaz to win that fight. John Molina Jr. was a terrible fight. Stylistically, we didn't know that what was going to happen there. Victor Postol, good win, but again, another stylistic advantage for him. Lundy was a 135 pounder. and Dier Regime were both 135 pounders. So they dragged up to 140. He beat up on them. So he looked like $1 million, and he looked like $1 million against relatively like overmatched opposition. I got to be honest. For the most part, there are some good wins sprinkled in, like again Postal and Beltran. Even Gamboa was a good one, even though that was like another guy that he blew up in weight. But I consider it a good one because Gamboa had that pedigree. So this is good for him, man. He needs this for a little more legitimacy in his career, because ultimately Crawford's legacy in the near future, it's not at this point. It's not going to be defined by a Pacquiao fight no more, because Pacquiao is off his radar after the loss. Pacquiao's going to go look for a Horn rematch, so that's not happening for him. So he's going to have to actually become a star on his own merit, which I actually like. I want to see if he can actually do it, because now we can't complain that he doesn't have the platform no more. He has the top rank ESPN platform, which, as we can see, Manny Pacquiao just did the best ratings since 1990 on cable television. So it was definitely a big winner for ESPN and Top Rank. But yeah, man, Indongo, you look at him. He's coming into this fight. He's 34 years old. He's not the biggest puncher in the world. Crawford's a lot faster than him. Crawford's the more versatile fighter than him. It really is. If you're being honest, take my feelings aside of it, from Indongo fighting out of obscurity. He is he could be another overmatched fighter. To be honest with you, a guy that's proven his merit. Beating some good B, C level fighters that had titles, but really had never beat anybody at that top class, top level. So, yeah, man, he'll be undisputed, but I think people might take his undisputed with a grain of salt. But regardless, being undisputed is always hard in boxing, and I'm looking forward to it. So the battle undisputed, it'll probably be good for Crawford, because even if it is a close fight, we know that in Omaha with Top Rank and him being one of the top ranked darlings, if it's a close fight, he will more than likely get the decision. But if he does become undisputed champion, I'll be happy, man. I like Crawford. I think he's a good fighter. I think the way he fights, when people actually get a chance to watch him fight, he's great for boxing. I just think his personality is really dry, and I think he should just stop being a robot. But I like Crawford aside from that. But let me know what you guys think. The battle for undisputed, it's going to have Julius Indongo of the country of Namibia, the only current African title holder, from what I'm understanding. Full African, not anything Joshua's part Nigerian, but I'm talking about full African title holder from the country of Namibia. So, probably if he could get this W, probably the biggest win in the history of African boxing, from what I can think of right now. And for Crawford, the first undisputed champion in boxing since Jermaine Taylor, no small accomplishment there. So he's going to stake his claim for legitimate pound for pound number one, that spot legitimately. So we'll see what happens, man. Let me know what you guys think. August 19th, to be there, be square on ESPN Top Rank. Crawford and Indongo, what do you guys think? Is it a stylistic mismatch for Crawford? Is another overmatched opponent for him? Let me know in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just giving Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.